Welcome to Trade with Bands. I'm your host, Brandon Bands, and in this video, we're going to talk about the hottest name on Wall Street bets today. I'm talking about none other than Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Stay tuned for this episode of Wall Street Bets Yolo. Welcome back. In every video, I like to remind you guys, my number one priority is to make you and the folks in the Trade with Bands community as much money as I possibly can. And I really do mean that. So, with that being said, today we're gonna focus on the hottest name in Wall Street bets. I'm talking about Palantir. This thing is super duper hot. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've traded this thing a couple of times and lost. But it's all good because I'm about to get it back with interest, baby. Stay tuned for the rest of this episode and check out where the big boys put their money down for the Wall Street Bets YOLO. If you guys are new here, then we have a process. And typically that process involves taking a look at the company's profile, meaning figuring out what it is that they do and who they are. Then we take a look at the news. We take a brief look at the technical data so we can understand key levels and figure out what the charts are telling us. And then finally, we go ahead and we take a look at where the big boys have laid down their bets and the biggest and baddest bets of the day. I like to call those YOLOs. Now, let's go ahead and start off with Reuters News and let's see what they have to say about Palantir Technologies. According to Reuters, Palantir is inside of the software and programming industry. It's led by executive leadership, Peter Thiel, and the chairman of the board, co-founder, is Stephen Cohen. Now, those are some pretty interesting and familiar folks in the finance business, so definitely this company has some big-time leadership. Palantir Technologies builds software platforms for institutions, full stop. The company operates two segments. A commercial segment, which serves customers working in non-government industries. So that means like, your regular businesses, people that have businesses outside of the government. And then it also has a government platform or segment, which serves customers that are agencies in the United States federal government and also in the international governments. It has built two software platforms, Palantir Gotham and Palantir Foundry. Now Gotham, their first platform, is a software platform which is constructed for analysts at defense and intelligence agencies. So that means, they might be working with the CIA, they might be working with the FBI, they could be working with the Secret Service, but they're doing software and programming for those types of folks. Now, Gotham enables users to identify patterns that are hidden within data sets. In other words, Palantir can form a deep search of all criminal, financial, medical, communication, and clandestine agency records on the target. So, that means they're on your buns if you're trying to do something against the United States. The company's tech helped locate Osama bin Laden in 2011 and is currently being used to trace COVID-19 infections, track medical supply chains, and even predict outbreaks in pandemic hot zones. So it's safe to say, Palantir is a pretty important company. Foundry, which is their second software platform, creates a central operating system for an organization's data. Individual users can integrate and analyze the data. So, with that being said, that's who Palantir is. Now let's talk about what's happening with them in the news. So today, Yahoo wrote an article, and it's about Wejo, a global leader in connected vehicle data, and their partnership with Palantir. Today detailed the early success of a new partnership aiming to solve the most ambitious problems of the mobility revolution. As the world moves at a furious pace to reduce emissions, improve vehicle safety, and design resilient smart cities, Wejo and Palantir are looking to create an integrated data ecosystem for the automotive industry and beyond. The two companies discussed the partnership, Palantir's investments in Wejo, which entered into a definitive agreement to merge with Virtuoso Acquisition Group. The partnership between Wejo and Palantir is ultimately about delivering on the promise of connected vehicle data to improve the way we live, work, and travel for the better. According to Sarah Larner, an executive and vice president of innovation at Wejo, she said the partnership is about putting our data for good, which is trademarked, that type of product and service to work, and to make a better and safer transportation experience. The partnership is accelerating the valuable connected vehicle data insights we can give. Connected vehicle data is vastly underutilized across the automotive industry and needs to be turned into actionable intelligence in order to address the most pressing mobility problems of the day. Wejo collects and analyzes more than 16 billion data points per day in near real time across a network of 11 million live vehicles. Wow. To date, Wejo has ingested more than 10 trillion data points and 48 billion journeys from connected vehicles. The partnership aims to combine Wejo's robust data asset with the power of Palantir's Foundry platform, which we talked about earlier, to unlock a diverse set of use cases that will benefit society on a global scale. Then, use cases ranges from working with part suppliers on component quality, to working with regulators in defining the future of autonomous driving, to helping city planners make data-driven investments in smart city infrastructure. So, long story short, Palantir is partnering with Wejo, who has a bunch of data, and Palantir can crunch that data, and together they can make great decisions about the automotive industry and how to change that industry and sector for the better. I think that's it. Now, with that being said, let's hop right on into the technicals.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me to take a look at the technicals. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but a couple things that I wanted to point out. First thing is this. Palantir has been trading above the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly chart for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th week now. So we're finally starting to get some traction and this trend is really starting to push. What I've been waiting for is for price to really break over this 2738 level, which we see right here. This is marked in green. Once we broke over that level today, I had a pretty good feeling that price is going to push higher because we have been capped by this level for so long. And now that we've finally broken over it, I'm feeling really good about our opportunity to move to the next level, which is 29. And then once we can get over 29, your boy is looking for 35. So with that being said, those are the technicals and those are the key levels that you need to watch.
So like we talked about in the technical part of the video, Palantir had a wild day. Let alone being up 5% today, that thing was a monster. It was able to break the 2750 level, which it had been held down since February 23rd. Now, another thing I want to note to you guys is that the key levels that we're watching are 29 and then 35. So now that price is broken over 2750, this thing is getting ready to go. So I like to always remind you of that before we talk about the YOLOs so that you can understand maybe why the big boys chose the bet that they did and why they decided to put that level of money down on the particular bet. So these are a couple other interesting facts that happened today. Today, we had 1 million calls on Palantir. Let me say that again. We had almost 1.1 million calls on Palantir today. And it was the #1 trending name on Wall Street Bets. So you know everybody was looking and everyone was trying to get a piece. Now on the put side, we had 300,000 puts. So that's approximately, let's almost call it 4 to 1. It's really probably like 3.5 to 1, but let's just round it up to 4, okay? So you have 4 to 1 call to put ratio, meaning for every 4 people that thought this thing was gonna go up, there was some one person thinking that this thing was gonna go down. But I gotta say, being that we broke over that key level again today, I'm definitely on the side of folks that's looking for this thing to push higher. So, in addition to almost having 1.1 million calls today, 49% of the calls were above ask. That means people were just buying. They were gobbling this thing right on up. And I can't blame them because at the open in the Trade with Bands community, yeah, we caught this thing at 2750. I'm just bragging a little bit, but that's simply the facts. We did, all right? We were taking a look at the 2750 level, and we knew that once price got over it, this thing was gonna go, and it did. And so without further ado, let's hop into the Wall Street bet, Yolo. Now I saw two plays that I really liked and that caught my attention today. The first play that I saw was for around $400,000. Now this one took place literally 1 minute into the open today. All right, so at 9:31 a.m. Eastern time, somebody purchased approximately $400,000 of September 24th, so that's next week's calls or next week's expiration, and they bought calls for the 25th strike. So they bought them in the money, which is cool. I totally understand that. But the other position in the Wall Street bet YOLO that I want to bring you guys' attention to today is the play for $750,000. Now, with 9 minutes left until the day, somebody decided to buy 1,155 contracts of the January, get this, 2023 calls, okay? January 2023 expiration for the 30 call, all right? Now I already know when this thing gets to 30, these contracts are gonna be up stupid. So I just wanted to bring you guys that little bit of information, let you know where the big boys are placing their bets. And if I had to say, where would Brandon Bands be getting in? I'd probably be looking at October 15s, probably looking at the 29 strike and the October 15 expiration. But that's just me, all right? This is not financial advice. That's just this man's opinion. But I enjoy making these videos for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this information about Palantir. I'm super stoked to see this thing squeeze and potentially move to 35 within a short period of time. That's just my own thought process, so keep that in mind. But as always, you know how we do around here. I'm gonna leave you guys with two very important things. Patience pays, and get more bands.